Panathinaikos are one of the strongest teams in Greece, and how they performed last season just proves it. But the same story can't be said in Europe, as they've never won the Champions League, with the closest they came to it being in 1971. But today that's going to change, as I am becoming the new manager of Panathinaikos, and by the end of this video I'll be making them the best team in the world. But before we go any further, we've got to figure out what league to put Panathinaikos in, and it's going to be La Liga. We are heading to Spain with Panathinaikos. So this is the starting 11 I've loaded into, and I'll be real, we have got a lot of work to do. Especially when you consider what league we're in. We're going to be competing against Real Madrid, Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. And this team right now isn't going to be competing for anything, it's going to be fighting for survival. The good news is though, we've got no players currently on loan to us, so at least we don't have to worry about anything like that. But as you can see, it's an extremely aging side, so that's one thing we're going to have to consider going forward. But to be fair to them, they've got some pretty solid players like Spanish winger Aitor, goalkeeper Alberto Brignoli, and Brazilian winger Bernard. But other than that, really, this team hasn't got that much going for it. But before we do anything else, we're fixing this formation because the 4-3-3 attacking does not suit Panathinaikos. Instead, we're going for the 4-2-3-1 narrow. We've got a couple of holding midfielders already in the starting 11 and a couple of wingers, so it just makes sense. And with just a little bit of meddling, we've got everybody in their proper positions, but this team still has a lot of work that needs doing to it. But the budget really isn't on our side, as we've only got 11 million to spend in our first year in charge. And to be honest, we're not in a position to sell anybody, because looking at the older players' market values, it really wouldn't be worth selling anybody. So we've just got to make this 11 million count as much as possible. Now I'm leaving the front four alone because right now they're the strongest part of the team, which is a worrying thing to say in its own right. I want to sort this defence out, primarily bringing in a couple of fullbacks. Yes, the centre-backs aren't that good either, but they're much better than the two fullbacks we've currently got. And starting with the first fullback, we're bringing youth into the team with Sylvan Hefty from Genoa. He's 24 years old, 72 overall. Give him a couple of seasons, he might improve quite a lot. And we have secured our first transfer as Panathinaikos manager, bringing in Sylvan Hefty for 4.05 million. And the next and probably final transfer of this window is Jean-Kevin Deverne from Rayo Vallecano. He's 25 years old, 73 overall, and just like Hefty, he's young and hopefully he'll improve. And we did manage to secure him on a 4-year deal for just over 4.7 million. And now we've only got 955,000 left to spend, so we really can't bring any more players to the team. But one thing I've done is sent a whole bucket load of our players out on loan. They're all pretty young, and hopefully when they get game time, they will improve away from the club, so when they come back, they'll be better players. But that is indeed our transfer window complete, which leaves the team looking like this heading into season 1 with Panathinaikos. And I'll be real, I'm not expecting much from this team. I'll be very surprised if we actually survive. Our defence isn't strong enough yet. Our front four, whilst it's the strongest part of the team, is nowhere near strong enough yet either. But if we can somehow survive this season without getting relegated, that is a good sign of things to come. Now boys, I ain't gonna lie, this is gobsmacked me. We're 8th in the league at the end of this season. We were nowhere near the relegation zone. I'm struggling to figure out how we pulled that off. The team that we've got now should not be finishing 8th in the league. But we did only make it to the round of 32 in the Copa de España, so that kind of does make sense. And looking at the team, there's not really been all that much improvement, man. Our fullbacks have absolutely improved, but other than that, it's been pretty shambolic. And as for the players that sent out on loan, 2 players really standing out right now. Alexis Troulet, who's 22 years old and got up to 73 rated, as well as Fotis Ioannidis, who's gone up to 75 rated at only 23 years old. It might be worth bringing these back off loan next year and fit them into this team. I have to say though, looking at our stats, I'm actually quite impressed. Aitor with 22 and 8, 17 and 2 for Sporrad, and 10 and 6 for Palacios. To be honest, I'm gobsmacked. I thought for sure we were going to get relegated this year, and in turns we get a top 10 finish. How the bloody hell do we pull that off? But I am hoping this leads to one thing happening in season 2. We get better money to work with, which in turn means we can bring in better players, which in turn means we can push for a better finish than 8th in the league next year. But before we go any further, we are on the road to 40,000 subscribers before the end of FIFA 23, so if you're enjoying the video so far, leave it a big old thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We're now into season 2 of Panathinaikos, and the first thing I'm doing is recalling my mate Fotis from his loan move and Alexis Troulet from his loan move. They're too good to be on loan right now when they could be fitting into our squad. And with those players now in the team, not only are they better, they're younger as well. And the funny thing is, we've improved the team without even spending a penny, and hopefully after last season's performance, we've got a little bit more money to work with this year. Boys, thank God for that. We've got 28 million to spend in season 2. We can definitely make something work with that. Now once again, I'm leaving this front four alone apart from the striker. They proved last year they can get goals in La Liga, so I'm just leaving them as they are. I personally want better centre backs than these two. Once we get better defenders in, hopefully we can replicate last season's performance. And whilst 28 million is much better than last season, it is only 28 million, so we've got to be very tactical with who we bring in. And for the first centre back, we are going for Mohamed Salisu from Olympic Lyon. He's an absolute giant at 6'3" and 77 rated. He will slot perfectly into this Panathinaikos side. But Lyon weren't letting him go that easy, as we've just had to spend 16.5 million to bring him here on a 4-year deal. And partnering up with Salisu is Chelsea's young prospect Levi Colwell. He's 20 years old and already 74 rated. I think he'll do just fine here. And we have just scraped a deal with Levi Colwell, as he's joining Panathinaikos for 9 million. And when I say just scraped, I bloody mean it. We've got 50,000 left to spend, man. That's our transfer window done. But now the team looks like this heading into season 2, and I've got to say, I'm very happy with how it's looking. We're not just bringing better players in, we are bringing younger players in, which means as the season progresses, so will they. Now, don't get it twisted, I aren't silly in the slightest. I know for a fact we aren't competing for Europe anytime soon, but it would be nice to try and get as close to 8th place in the league as possible, just so we can replicate last year's finish. Well, we've just arrived at the end of season 2, and bloody hell, we've done badly. 16th at the end of this campaign. I knew season 1 was a fluke, but 16th in the league, man, that's appalling. But we did make it to the quarters of the Copa de España, so I suppose that's not too bad. And it looks like nobody's happy in that starting 11. I'm not surprised, man. You did shocking this year. And it comes as no surprise the stats aren't as good as last season's either. 22-3 for Aitor and 12-3 for Fotis. Don't get me wrong, I'm slightly disappointed, but I'm not too surprised either. I knew that season 1 was a fluky finish. However, in season 3, we've got to build on this. We've got to try bringing some good players, and hopefully that will improve the team enough to get a better finish. We're now going into our 3rd season with Panathinaikos, and we've only got 21 million to spend this year, so we're going to have to be very tactical on who we actually bring in. But looking at that starting 11, there's only a couple of positions we really need to improve. Now, we need a better cam than Jurisic. He's 32 years old and 75 rated. His overall will start to dwindle this year. We do also need a better CDM than Corbalis. He's 75 rated, but he's 30 years old, so I'm not too fussed about getting someone to replace him just yet. But my number 1 priority this season is getting a better keeper than Brignoli. He's 32 years old, 76 rated. I think if we get a better keeper this season, we get a much better finish at the end of the campaign. But we got 2 choices. Do I try to split the money equally between getting a new cam and a goalkeeper, or do I blow all of my money on getting a brand new goalkeeper? And I ain't gonna front, boys, that isn't a difficult decision to make, as I'm bringing Chelsea's Altay Bayindir to Panathinaikos, 26 years old and already 80 rated. He will massively improve our squad. And after a long time negotiating, we finally got our keeper, as we've just spent 18.3 million on him. And after that transfer and sorting everybody's contracts out, we've only got 325k left, so that's our transfer window done. And this is how the team looks going into season 3. Now, I'm far confident this year with a better goalkeeper, and our defense is pretty much sorted for the time being. And I think it's safe to say that we're getting a much better finish than 16th. If we get any worse than that, I really don't know what we're doing wrong. So boys, we've just arrived in June, and I'm happy to say we've done a lot better. We're 11th in the league at the end of this campaign. I mean, don't get it twisted, I would have liked a higher finish than this, but after last season's calamity, I'll definitely take 11th. And thankfully, this team is starting to slowly come together. It's only taken us 3 bleeding seasons. But to be fair, the stats this year aren't all that impressive. 12-4 for Fotis and 12-8 for Aitor. It's been a bit of a rollercoaster so far, hasn't it? We've gone up, then down, then back up. This Panathinaikos team don't know what to do. But thankfully, I know exactly what to do, which is why next year, I'm gunning for European football. So we're now into season 4 with Panathinaikos, and like I've just said, I know exactly what to do. I've put every single one of these players on the transfer list. They're all dead wood, and right now we need as much money as possible to bring in as much talent as possible. And after selling majority of those players, we've now got 54 million in our budget this year. Now, this kind of money I can definitely put to good use. But I have meddled with the team a little bit and gone back to the 4-3-3 attacking variation. This is because Corbalis has gone down in overall, and my mate Seven and Trulet are just better midfielders. But looking at that team, it's so obvious where it needs improvement. We need a better attacking midfielder than Klein Heisler, and we need a better winger than Bernard. Once we sorted those positions out, we genuinely have a half-decent shot at Europe this year. And starting with the winger who's going to replace Bernard, Luca Romero from SC Braga, 20 years old and already 78 rated. I can see this guy being a game changer. And in my opinion, we got an absolute bargain for Romero's. We've only had to spend 23.3 million on him. And as for the attacking midfielder, I'm going for Brighton's Kozlowski, who's 21 years old, 78 rated. I think him and Romero are seriously going to help us get success this year. And because he only had 12 months left on his contract, we only had to spend 24.5 million on him. And with that, our transfer window's done, and this is the starting 11 that's going to go into season 4. And I'll be real, I think think this is the year we make our name in Spanish football. The team right now has never looked better. As it stands, 8th in the league is our best finish. Hopefully this season we can get a top 6 finish and secure our spot in European football. I'm slowly beginning to give up, boys. We're 13th in the league at the end of this season. I seriously don't know where we're going wrong. I mean, for God's sake, this team should be competing for top 6 football, not bloody bottom half football. And I dread to think what would have happened if it wasn't for our front three. 14 and 11 for Aitor, 13 and 1 for Fotis, and 12 and 4 for Luca Romero. We got to go back to the drawing board in season 5 and figure out what the hell is going wrong with this Panathinaikos squad. So we're now into season 5 and somehow this team isn't in Europe yet. Like, we need to figure out what's going on. The only thing that comes to my mind is we need a better midfielder and right back, because those are the two weakest links in the starting 11. If we improve those positions and we are still getting terrible finishes in the league, I seriously don't know where to go from there. But the good news is we've still somehow got 49 million to spend, so hopefully we can sort this situation out. And starting with the fullback, I'm going for Denzel Dumfries from Inter Milan. He's 30 years old and 82 rated. He will definitely do the job on that wing. And due to the fact he only had 12 months left on his contract, we only had to spend 21 million on him. And given into that midfield is Arsenal's Charlie Patino, who's 79 overall at 22 years old. Once we sign him, there's literally no more weakness in that starting 11. And just like Dumfries, his contract was running out, so we only had to spend 22 million on him. And boys, signing Patino literally broke us. We've got no money left in our transfer budget, man. It's a good job I've got the live editor. I'd be so sacked. But this is the starting 11 that's going to go into season 5, and it's by a mile the strongest this team's ever been. I'm just going to put this out there. If we don't get a top 8 finish with this squad, I don't know where to go from here. Boys, we just reached the end of season 5, and this is mental. We're 5th in the league at the end of this campaign, and we are finally in Europe. It's mental that after all this time, it was just the midfield and right back that needed sorting out. I cannot believe those two signings have made that much of a difference. Just look at this team, man. It is ready and primed for the Europa League. I reckon with a couple of good signings, we win the entire thing. And the stats this year do look pretty decent. 25 and 1 for Foti, 16 and 6 for Luca Romero, and 11 and 13 for Aitor. It's taken long enough, hasn't it? 5 long seasons, but we're finally in Europe. And you boys better believe we're making the most of this opportunity. We are gunning for European silverware. We're now into season 6 with Panathinaikos, and as you guys already know, we are finally in Europe. And looking at that starting 11, whilst it is amazing, there's a couple of things that we do need to do. For starters, we need a new keeper because Bayandi is the only one we've got. And with Dumfries now being 31 years old, it might be worth considering bringing in a better right back. Other than that, I'm happy to leave the team as it is. I reckon we just let them cook because they're all young and they've got pretty decent potential. And boys, the board have blessed us big time this year. 85 million to spend in season 6. I guess that's what European football gets you. And starting with the goalkeeper, I'm going for a veteran of the game at this point. Alisson from Liverpool. He's 34 years old, 90 rated. He's coming to the end of his career so he can help us win some bloody silverware. And because he only had 12 months left on his contract, we only had to spend 15 million to bring him to Panathinaikos. And as for that right back position, I'm going for Borussia Dortmund's João Mario, who's 27 years old, 84 rated. But they weren't letting him go easily at all, as we've just had to fork out 52.5 million for him. And with that, our transfer window's done, and this is the Panathinaikos side going into season 6. I'm honestly buzzing with what we've turned this team into. From the start to right now, it's unrecognisable. And the best part about this season, we're finally in Europe. And speaking of Europe, we're in the Europa League in Group D alongside Celtic, Trabzonspor and Victoria Pleasant. And you guys know exactly what I want. You've seen how good the team is. I want to win this competition outright and get our place in the Champions League with no questions asked. So boys, we've just arrived in June and we've done it. We're 4th in the league at the end of this season and we've got Champions League football for season 7. But just check out how close the title race was. It was only 3 points separating ourselves from bloody Real Madrid. And as for the Europa League, we started off very well by swamping the group stage. We go straight to the round of 16, where we meet up against Man City and beat them 3-1. Boys, what the bloody hell are Man City doing in the Europa League? We absolutely smashed Arts in the quarters, and we just scraped past Olympic Lyon in the semis. We're playing Barca in the final. And we have finally won our first piece of silverware with Panathinaikos beating Barcelona 3-1 to win the Europa League. And just look at this team, man. It is absolutely ready for the Champions League next year. And the stats this season are the best they've ever been. 33 and 3 for Fotis, 22 and 10 for Aitor, 12 and 8 for Kozlowski, and 12 and 4 for Luca Romero. It's safe to say it's been a successful season. Top 4 football, and we've won the Europa Europa League. Boys, we guaranteed our spot in the Champions League no matter what this year. I'm just hoping that next year's budget's just a little bit better than this year's whilst considering what we've accomplished. So we're now into Season 7 with Panathinaikos and we finally got Champions League football. And looking at the team, I think it's more than ready for the Champions League, but there's still some improvements to be made. I'd like a better centre midfielder than Truliet. He's been amazing for us from start to right now, but if we're in the Champions League, I need somebody a bit younger and better. And I only noticed this at the end of last season. We've got no other striker than Fotis, so we're getting a backup striker too. And with last season's accomplishments, the board have given us 123 million to spend this year. Now that money I can definitely put to good use. And starting in the centre of the park, I'm going for Conor Gallagher from Lazio. He's 85 rated at 28 years old. He's the box-to-box midfielder we need. And Conor Gallagher's our most expensive signing yet, as we've just spent 68.5 million on him. And as for the backup striker, I couldn't find anybody better than Jesus Ferreira, who's 27 years old and 83 rated. And we just spent 47.6 million to bring Jesus Ferreira to Panathinaikos on a 3-year deal. And with that, our transfer window's done, and this is the team heading into Season 7. Man, I'm liking the looks of this team. I've got a feeling not only can we do well in the Champions League, I reckon we've got a good shot of winning La Liga as well. But speaking of winning things, we got an early opportunity of silverware against PSG in the Super Cup. If we beat these guys right now, let's see if we can... Oh my... Okay, that is a reality check. But brushing that aside, we are of course in the Champions League in Group F alongside Dortmund, Sporting and Bodo Glimt. And we haven't come this far to get to the Champions League to go out in the group stage. I want to top this group with flying colours and go to the round of 16. Well boys, we've arrived halfway through the season and it's looking good. We are top of the league after 19 games. But we are competing against Real Madrid, Barca and Atletico, so whether we can keep this up or not is a different story. But the really good news is we've smashed Group F and we are cruising to the round of 16. And stats wise, Romero's having a really good season. 23 goals, 5 assists in 26 games. That's unbelievable. And with only 5 million in the budget, there's not really a great deal you can do with that. So this is the starting 11 that's going to go into the knockouts for the very first time. And I think we've got a shot to get into the final, man. Obviously, our subs bench isn't the best in terms of squad depth, but the starting 11 is insane. But like I always say, boys, it all depends on who we get drawn up against. And boys, you genuinely can't write this. Liverpool in the round of 16, man. Talk about a bleeding baptism by fire. I know our team is really good, but Liverpool's bloody Liverpool, isn't it? We're going to get straight into this game, though. We are away from home, so a result here could be mental. Gallagher in the 87th. That is a massive result. A draw will be enough to see us into the quarterfinals, man. We are at home in the second leg. It's just a case of whether we can hold it. Oh, my God. Oh my God, we've actually beaten Liverpool. I thought for sure we were getting knocked out in the round of 16. Boys, we have got a genuine shot of going all the way. And in the quarters, we go from one English giant to the next in Manchester United. And looking at that team, I'd actually argue they've got a better team than Liverpool. We're going to get straight into this game once again away from home in the first leg. And we batter them 3-1. Oh, boys. This is nuts. It's definitely not over yet, though. This is Manchester United we're talking about. We're 3-1 up on aggregate. A draw. I'll definitely take a draw in the second leg. Oh, my days. They did get a 2-1 win in the second leg, but it wasn't enough. We beat them 4-3 overall on aggregate, and we go to the semis. And the last team we have to face before we get to the final is Lyon from France. Now, we've already beaten Liverpool and United, so coming up against Lyon, I'm quite confident that we can quite easily get past these guys and make it to the final. And it's a decent start. I would have liked a better result, but a 2-1 win will do. We're one more good result away from the final, boys. We've just got to hold on to this 2-1 lead or even expand... What? We beat Liverpool and United and we lose to freaking Lyon. That is actually unreal. I was convinced we were getting to the final this year. Bloody hell, Lyon. Well, boys, we've just been humbled in a big way in the Champions League. I just hope that in the La Liga Santander, we are still either top of the league or inside the top 4. Otherwise, we can kiss goodbye to the Champions League. So, boys, we've just skipped to the end of the season and this was our year in Spain. We have won La Liga Santander by 10 points in the end. We left everybody for dead. We have truly created a monstrosity with Panathinaikos, man. I don't see any team stopping us at all next year either. And just like last year, the stats are pretty impressive as well. 28-9 for Romero, 20-11 for Aitor, 12-3 for Conor Gallagher and my mate Fotis, and also 11-2 for Jesus Ferreira. There's not really much I can say about this team, man. They've absolutely smashed it this year. Last year we won the Europa League, this year we won the title. Is next season finally our time to win the Champions League? So we now into season 8 with Panathinaikos, and looking at the starting 11, there's nowhere we can really improve. I want to focus my attention on the subs bench. We haven't got a second choice winger, attacking midfielder or centre back. And once we've got this position sorted for the subs bench, we've got squad depth and quality whenever the starting 11 needs it. And we definitely aren't short of funds either. 154 million to spend. And starting with the backup winger, I'm going for Michael Olise from Bologna, who's 27 years old and 84 rated. And we managed to sign him on a 3-year deal for 53.45 million. And as for the backup attacking midfielder, I'm going for Brahim from West Ham United, 29 years old and 84 rated. And for 41.8 million, we have secured him on a 4-year deal. And finally, for that backup centre-back role, I'm going for Daniel Vivian from Monza, who's 29 years old and 83 rated. And we have ended our transfer window by bringing in Daniel Vivian for 37.5 million. And now the team looks like they're heading into our 8th season in charge of Panathinaikos. And I've got to say, I am bloody happy with how this team's panned out. There's no weaknesses in the starting 11. The subs bench is riddled with quality as well. We're ready for anything this year. And we are, of course, in the Champions League again in Group D alongside the bottle jobs Atalanta and Celtic. And you guys know exactly what I want. I want to top this group with flying colours. And as an added bonus, I'd absolutely love it if the bottle jobs finish 4th. Well, boys, we've just arrived halfway through this season and we are second in the league, only 1 point behind Real Madrid. Could you imagine if we pulled off back-to-back titles with the likes of Madrid, Barca and Atletico in this league? And we absolutely smashed the group stage. We're cruising to the round of 16 alongside Spurs slipping away to the Europa League where they bloody belong. And so far the stats are pretty decent too. 12-1 for Fotis, 9-5 for Kasper Kolowski and 7-1 for Aitor. And I did everything I wanted to do in the first transfer window, so this is the team that's once again going to go into the knockouts. And it's safe to say I'm very confident. Our starting 11 is one of the best in the world, I'd say, at this point, so I don't care who we come up against, we are probably going to slap them. And we started by beating PSG in the round of 16 and once again beating United in the quarters to make us go to the semi-final. PSG, Manchester United and now RB Leipzig in the semi-final. I'm not taking these guys for granted at all. We made that mistake last year and Lyon made us pay for it. We're going to get into this game and it's a 2-1 win. That is a brilliant start, but then again, that's exactly what happened with us and Lyon. Come on, boys, don't let me down. We've got the aggregate in our favour and we beat them 3-1. We are in the Champions League final at long last, and that bloody curse from last year didn't repeat itself. And in that final, we're facing Manchester City, the current in real life Champions League holders. We're heading over to the league. We've done it again. We're back-to-back champions. That's our second league title running. And the stats this year are genuinely phenomenal. 46-7 for Fotis, 21-5 for Romero, 10-15 for Aitor, and 9-11 for Conor Gallagher. We inherited a very, very average Panathinaikos side and turned it into an absolute bloody monster. With the likes of 89 rated Gallagher, 89 rated DeVerne, 89 rated Romero, and 90 rated Fotis, just to name a few standout players. And to be fair, we have won quite a bit with Panathinaikos. We won the league title twice and the Europa League, but now we've got the chance to win the biggest one of them all, the Champions League. John Mario's on the ball. We've got options here. Cut it back.
Nope.
Hit it. Oh, nah, there's no way. There ain't no way that doesn't go in. Come on, man. Look at Romero's on the ball. We're pushing forward. This is nice. Can we get it to Fotis? Fotis inside. Please. Hit it. Hit it. One of these. Hit it. Oh, my God. How did that go in? Fotis is finding. Oh, Romero is through. He's got the pace. I think he's going to go all on his own. Make it count. Come on. 1-0 after the 30-minute mark. Luca Romero gets the goal. Okay, we need to clear this. We need to clear this. That is up. Oh, my days. Man City have started their second half on frigging fire. De Werner's on the ball now. He's pushing forward. He's waiting for runners. He sees one. There we go. Aitor's on the ball now. Cabore's in chase. This could lead to something really promising if we work this right. Patino. Oh, this is it. This is the chance. There is the goal. What a... I'm sorry. That was such a well-worked goal. Gianmario's on the ball now. We're pushing forward. We've got the bit between our teeth now. Romero's receiving it on the right-hand side of the pitch. He's got acres of room. We're going to pull it back to make it 3-1. Aitor, the man, the myth, the legend, who's been with us since season 1, has put us 3-1 up in the final. Hey, City, come back from that one. Oh, no, Almada. Okay. Okay, maybe they are going to come back from that one. Man City are really piling on the pressure now. I wish I'd have kept my gob shut. They actually are going to come back into this, I think. Oh, no! What a save. No! I cannot believe they've actually come back into it. Oh, my God. I cannot believe they actually got back into it. It's now bleeding extra time, for God's sake. Oh, my God. There's no way. Trincão's through. Oh, my God. What a save. After all of that, 120 minutes doesn't separate us. It goes to penalties. Up first is Fotis. He hasn't let me down this entire video. I don't think he's going to now. For God's sake, Edison. Okay, up next, we're going to... I hate Man City with a passion. Gianmario, please, for God, we're going to go the exact same place. There we go. You couldn't figure that one out, could you, Edison? Trincão next. We're going to go to the right, and we save it. Good lad. Romero up next. Right, we're going to go straight down the middle this time. We're going to... Oh, come on. Foden up next. Right, we're going to go to the left. Oh, my God. Boys, we've got the lead now. Aitor, you haven't let me down this entire video. Don't let me down now. Oh, wait, what? Oh, come on, man. What is this? Oh, there ain't no way. You're kidding me. Charlie Patino. It's all on you, mate. Top left bins. Put it away. Good lad. Good lad. Okay. It's all on you now, keeper. You save this. We have made Panathinaikos the best team in the world. By India versus Pedri. Is he going to save it? No, it's going to go to sudden death. Okay, Conor Gallagher. This is one guy I don't really trust on penalties. We're going to go straight down the middle, but fair play. He's put it away. By India versus Palmer. I don't think Palmer's got the minerals. Okay, maybe he does. Kozlowski transferred from Brighton. And he's going to go to the left, and Edison saves. Jesus Christ. Okay, Nathan Ake versus Bayandia. Please, for God's sake. He's going to go... Oh my God, we just about saved it. That was nuts. Levi Colwell. Okay, right. We're not going to go left anymore. We're going to go right this time. Thank you. This time we go right and it puts it into the back of the net. Okay, come on. This is the one. This is the one. Keeper versus keeper. Edison versus Bayandia, and he's... Oh my God. Oh my God. Where's this penalty shootout going to end? Salisu. Okay, we got it green. We're going to go straight down the middle. Please move. Thank you. Come on. Can this penalty shootout end with Diaz, please? Please. Thank you. Oh my God. Oh my God, how many penalties was that? Bayandia is the absolute hero of the Champions League final, and he has made us the best team in the world. That was absolutely nuts. 8 seasons, extra time, penalty shootout, sudden death, and we finally bloody do it. And if you're still here, thank you so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed that, you should definitely click here to watch me rebuild the worst team in Italy.